the gradient from the rise and run on a graph where we can count up and to the side, but this time around we're going to look at it without that. So just quickly remember, the gradient is the rise over the run, the rise is the change in the height, and the run is the change in the horizontal distance. So if you have a look at my mini example I've got here, so what we've got here is, see here, this is our height. And because we've got a positive gradient here, we've gone from being down here at 1 and we've gone up to being at 3. So we've had an increase in 2. The way to do this with our coordinates is, see here our 3 there and our 1 there. We actually go 3, take away 1 to get that 2. So just with the graph to demonstrate how that works. And then we have a similar type thing here where we start at 2 and go to 6. So we've moved over 4. But when you can't see the graph, you can't see that. So what we do is we actually take point B away from point A, and so we get 6 take away 2 equals 4. This gives us the rise and the run without the graph, just using these two sets of points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an example first that shows it with a graph so you can see what's going on. Okay? So what we've got is we've got find the gradient of the line joining the given points. So we've got point A at 3, 4 and point B at 5, 6. So if I graph these for a start, so remember 3, 4. So our point starts there. And then we've got B that's at 5 and 6. So right there. So if I put a straight line going through both of them, we'll pretend that's a nice even line. Now, I'm going to label this as point A and point B. Okay, this is where it becomes important later on, because with them being labelled that way, we can understand. So you've got 3, 4, and then 5, 6. Okay, so if we look at this, we've gone along here. So we've had a run of, so if you look, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, a run of 4. So if we double check that by going 5 take away 3. Oh, my mistake, I forgot I've done it at a scale of 2. So if we go 5 take away 3, so our run is not 4, it's actually 2. Because that's 1 and that's 2. Okay, so 5 take away 3 gives me 2. So they match up. Alright, and then I look and we go, how much do I go up by? 1, 2. So my rise is also 2. So then you do your M equals rise over run, which then equals 2 over 2, and 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. So our gradient is 1. So basically what that tells me is that for every step I go this way, I go up 1 step as well. Okay, so that's what it looks like with a graph, and so then you just double check. So I would double check with my rise. Here I would go 6 take away 4, and that gives me 2, so then it is correct. So let's do another one. So here we've got point A is at -3, 6, so it's all the way up here. Okay, and then point B is at 1, -3. So there. And then if I connect them with a straight line, we'll pretend that's straight because we totally know it's not. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to label my points as well so I remember what my points are. So we've got -3, 6, and then point B is at 1, -3. Okay, so with that, because if you look at this, this is actually quite large. So what I can do is I can go M equals the rise over run. So write that every time because it just really helps you remember, make sure you're doing it the right way. And what I'm going to do is to get my run, I'm going to do B take away A. And this is in the X coordinates, okay? So your first coordinate. So here I'm going to have 1 take away -3. Now if you remember when we get two negatives like that, it becomes a plus. So we actually have 1 plus 3, which equals 4. Okay, now if I turned around and did this so they lined up and I went 1, 2, 3, 4, perfect. Okay, now if you look at this, this is a negative gradient graph. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put my run in there because now I've got it. But it's a negative gradient. So what we've got here is we've got -3, and it's going to be take away 6. Okay, because we're doing B take away A, and we're doing the Y coordinates this time, which is this second number. Okay, so always remember it goes your X and then your Y, just to remember. So here I've got -3 take away 6, which gives us -9. So then we put -9 on top of that. Now we can simplify this down to, it's going to be -2 1/4 or -2.25. Either one works. Okay, but that way it actually saves us count. So if we wanted now, we could count down. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they match up. So let's go on to another example, and this one here we're going to do without a graph to help us. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to label this X1, sorry about that, X1, and this one's going to be X2, or you could label it XA and XB. That might work better for you. And then so we got YA and YB. Okay, and the general thing is we have M equals your rise over your run, which is with just the coordinates, we're going YB take away YA, and then XB take away XA. And what we do is we substitute those numbers in. So we're going to have 8 take away 6 over 3 take away 2. So 8 take away 6 gives me 2, 3 take away 2 gives me 1, so 2 divided by 1 gives me 2. And you could check this by drawing it on a graph, but that's going to be accurate. Because if I go, okay, I've gone up by 2, yep, and I've only gone across by 1, that's about right. So then let's go do another one here. So let's label. So we've got XA and XB. Alright, and then we got YA, YB. Alright, so we're doing the same thing. M equals rise over run, which equals YB take away YA. Okay, and then we have XB take away XA. And this just basically helps find that change. Alright, so here let's go -3 take away 1 over 2 take away -5. Alright, -3 take away 1 is -4. And here we've got those 2 again, and that makes it a plus. So you've got 2 plus 5, which gives me 7. And that is it. That's our gradient. Okay? We're not going to put that into any whole numbers because you're going to end up with decimals. So we will leave it as is in this case. And that is it for this example. I hope that helped. You can come back and refer to this video as you work through it, and you'll be working through a question from the textbook for this one. Alright, thank you guys.